How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 22 of our Minecraft AlltheMods10 playthrough. In this episode, I want to complete all our requirements we need for productive trees, for Steve's carts, and for the Roots Classic mod as well. So let's get straight into it. So one thing I need help on deciding before we get started is whether or not I'm going to keep progressing in modern industrialization or just do the create mod for all the mod star requirements. Drop a comment down below on which one you think I should do because I'm having a really hard time deciding. Alright, so getting started with Steve's carts and our Galgadorian drills that we need. We are pretty much going to start out just crafting all of the things that we need and making patterns for all of it because it's pretty extensive as far as all the different materials we're going to be using. So we're just going to set up auto crafts for everything. So I think we'll just kind of work our way backwards. So we'll need a pattern for crafting this, the stabilized metal. Then we'll need a pattern for the hardened, refined hardeners. Then we'll need a hardened mesh pattern, and we'll be able to get our stabilized metal. And then from there, we're going to need our Galgadorian metal and our enhanced Galgadorian metal, as well as a hardened drill. So we're going to need our stabilized metal made into reinforced metal. And then we'll just need craft up a basic drill. And then from there, we'll be able to make our hardened drill. So that's that done. And then we'll need the Galgadorian metal, which we'll need a lot of different stuff for. So we'll be alloy smelting this, and then we'll need to craft lumps of Galgador, and then can already make glowstone dust and diamonds, and then we'll be making the stabilized metal. So then we just need to make the eye of Galgador. So we'll just need to craft up these eyes, and then we'll also need to be making these fermented spider eyes, which we can craft up pretty easily. And then the gas tiers, I don't really have a way to make these right now, but we should have a good amount of them. I think I do want to make some gas predictions so we can have gas tiers being made like that. But for the time being, we do have a good amount of gas tiers in our ME system, and we should have enough to be making the things that we need. And then just need this pattern. And then that should be everything we need for the Galgadorian metal. And then we just need the enhanced Galgadorian metal. So we'll need a large lump of Galgador. So we'll need this pattern, and then we'll need this crafting pattern, and then to make these lumps of Galgador, we should already have that one. Yeah, so we should have all the patterns we need, and then we just need to make a pattern for the drill. There we go, and then we just need to slap all these patterns in here, and there we go. And now we just need to throw these patterns in here, and then we can close that up, and then we should be able to make, how many does it say that we need? We need, for the Oblivion shard, we need 2. So let's go ahead and make 2. It says we're missing raw hardener and the hardened drills. Maybe we forgot patterns for those. I definitely made a pattern for this, I thought. And then what was the other thing we were missing? Oh, I guess we were missing the hardened drill pattern, and then we were missing raw hardener. We need raw, and we'll just need to make a pattern for that. And I guess we forgot that one. We did forget that one. All right, so we have everything we need now. So now we should be able to craft 2 of these, no problem. Oh, and it's already done. There we go. We got our 2 Galgadorian drills, and then I want to craft up just some of the stabilized metal so we can get the check mark next to it. Oh, actually, should prop it up. Yep, there we go. And that's all the requirements we need for Steve's carts. Now I want to move on to the Roots Classic, and there's not actually a guide for this, but they put in the description here the crystal staff. You'll need to place down a casting altar and the standing stones and the pattern specified in the JEI, and then we'll need to put a diamond block, a stick, and blaze powder into the altar. And then after that, place down 4 incense braziers around the altar, put the block of coal in one, acacia bark in the other, verdant bark in the third, and birch bark in the last, and light them all with flint and steel. And then shift right click the altar to start the ritual. So if we go, we can probably just put it right here, but if we look at JEI, so we have the casting altar, and then we need the standing stones. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna need. Maybe just the mundane one we can start with. Let's do this. Let's craft this runic tablet. Maybe that will give us an idea of what we need to do. So if we look here, we have standing stones. Like let's go ahead and start setting this up. Look here, and hopefully we have enough space for this. Oh shoot, we broke our thingy. So casting altar is what we'll need next. And to get that, we just need some of these stone bricks. Let's say we want like 100. And then we'll take those, make some slabs, and take the slabs and make the chiseled bricks, and we'll just need a gold block. Got the casting altar. And then if we look at the JEI, we need 4 of the incense braziers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our standing stones. And those are going to be placed 2 blocks from each other and then 2 blocks out. 2, boom. I guess that's 3 blocks out, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then here in the corners. And then the ritual or the braziers are going to be 1 block outside of the edges. So here, 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 and there. We had the perfect amount of space for that. And then if we open up our runic tablet again and go to rituals and the crystal staff, we need block of diamond, a stick, and blaze powder. So let's get that first. We need 1 block of diamond, a stick, and blaze powder. And then we need a block of coal, acacia bark, verdant spring, and birch bark. So we need acacia bark, birch bark. We need this acacia bark and birch bark, and then we'll need a block of coal. To get this acacia bark, we use a bark knife on a log, and that looks relatively easy to make. So we'll need acacia and birch, which we should have both of those logs over here. There we go, is some acacia bark, and just need birch right here. Now, we look back at our runic tablet, I have all this stuff, so I believe it's gonna go like this. So on the ritual or the incense braziers, we put these 4 items, and then we put, oh, maybe not. Where do we put these 3? Maybe shift click? No. And then we have to hit it with something too. Put the block of coal in 1, acacia bark in the other, verdant bark in the 3rd, and then light them all with flint and steel. And we need to place a diamond block, a stick, and blaze powder into the altar. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom, and boom. And then we need flint and steel, and then we need to light the incense braziers with flint and steel. And then once we do that, we shift right click the altar. It says ritual found, but stones are not placed correctly. I mean, we place them all 2 blocks away. They have 1 block in between. Is that not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we need to not use the mundane standing stones. Maybe we need the attuned ones. Let's see if we need those ones. So we're gonna need 32. Let's pick these up. Alright, that should be correct. Ritual found, but stones are not placed correctly. First, you need to place down the casting altar and standing stones in the pattern specified in JEI. Honestly, what if we took these out, then we pick up this and place it down like that? Is there something that I'm missing? That's in the middle. Check the pattern the standing stones are in. Alright, so I messed this up, and what we need to do is set this up like this. So we're going to take our mundane standing stones, place them here like that, and then we need to take our attuned standing stones, place them on the outside edges here, and then we need to take our incense braziers and just place them around like this. So now we can take our stick, our blaze powder, and our block of diamond, put them in the middle. And then we'll take our block of coal, our bark, and our spring and light them in the incense braziers. And now we shift right click. It says the brazier is now burning. Oh wait, shift right click the casting altar. Maybe without the wrench. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting. And there we go. Now we got our crystal staff. And that's going to be needed for our pulsating black hole. And I believe that's everything we're going to need for that. If we just take a look at this, it says we're missing our paradox or our pocket storage unit and our micro missiles, which we have both of those. So our pocket storage is actually in here, and I don't think there's anything in here. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Just making sure. So we'll throw that in our ME system. And then our micro missiles should be in one of these chests. I believe. Yeah, right here. So we'll just throw one of those in there. And now we have everything we need to craft the pulsating black hole. And we'll go ahead and claim our rewards. Got some more blocks, and that's another item done. So we got 4 of our AlltheMods star requirements done, and we have 6 left to go, but really it's 5 because we have all of the items we need for the Patrick star. We just need to assemble it. And I believe we're still waiting on these to finish crafting. Yeah, we're still waiting on our 2 portable item cells that we need. They've been crafting for a little over 2 hours now, and it's still not done. And I think something I actually want to do is take some of the stuff that we've crafted already. So we'll take our Wither Compass, Pulsating Black Hole, our Creative Essence, and Dimensional Seed. And I want to put these in some item frames. We can put them there, and we'll place these in just like that, just so we can kind of keep track of all of our progress. We actually need one more item frame. So now that we're done with that, we can now move on. We've done the Steve's Carts and the Roots Classic. Now we're just going to do the productive trees and make our Socotra Dragon Sapling that is going to be needed for the Dragon Soul. Alright, so the first things that we're going to need to do for our productive trees, I actually want to sleep first before we get started, just so we can have some daylight. Alright, so getting started with the productive trees, I think we can just, slap them down over here. We are going to take some jungle sapling, some dark oak sapling, and some acacia sapling. Super easy to get if you have wood and nature essence. And then we also want some bone meal. And then we need to grow jungle tree, a dark oak tree, which we need 4 saplings for, and then a acacia tree. There we go, we got those 3 trees down. And then we're going to want to grab some of our advanced beehives. And I believe we're only going to need about 7 of them. And we'll go ahead and grab some expansion boxes for those as well. And one other thing we're going to need for these beehives is one of these pollen sieve upgrades. And in order to make this, we're going to need, don't want lunar saplings. Let's just do like the acacia saplings. Oh no, I think that's going to be backed up because of our, yeah, that's going to be backed up because of this. So I think what we can do is craft up some paper, and then in the middle we have our upgrade base. Alright, so we got our 7 pollen sieves. So now what I want to do is I want to go capture 2 just regular bees, if I can find any. I believe there was some over here. Yeah, this regular bee and a regular bee. And I want to throw them in a breeding chamber. So now we're just going to breed up 35 of these normal bees to put inside of these beehives. I'm just going to speed that up so it goes a little bit faster. And there we go. Now we have our 35 bees. Now we're going to go back over here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to slap down our beehive and our expansion boxes on all of our trees. Just like so. That like right there. And then we want to put our pollen sieve upgrades in all of those. And then we want to make some productivity omega upgrades that we'll end up taking out of here eventually and use them for the rest of our beehives, but we're just going to put them in there for right now. And then what we're going to want to do is just place 5 bees in all of these, and these are still child bees, so we're actually going to have to wait for them to not be child bees. While we wait for that though, we just want to get some feeding slabs. And let's just grab some dirt, and we want to put some flowers on that. And then I'm just going to speed all of these up so the bees can grow up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take some item, or we can just take some of our universal pipe and our pipe upgrades. And now all of our bees should be adults. But what we're going to do with this is actually going to break these dirt blocks. What I want to do is actually just feed all of these. Feed all of these to a chest, and we're gonna feed all of these into a netherite chest. Just clear out all this stuff, and then we want this feeding into, whoops, we actually are gonna want that there, and then these pulling from there and depositing everything into that, so we can put in advanced pipe upgrade to make it go by faster. We can remove all this stuff, and now these should all be feeding into this chest. And then I just want to make some stack upgrades, and then once we throw our stacking upgrades in, we see we are starting to get pollen from our acacia and our dark oak, and then we're just going to go ahead and speed these up again. And we got some pollen from our jungle leaves as well. Alright, so now we should be able to just start breaking these. Yep, and then we are gonna get teak saplings because our jungle tree and our dark oak tree were so close together. It's making these leaves be pollinated, and when you break them, you'll get the teak saplings. So now what we're gonna do next is plant this teak tree down. So we'll move this away a little bit. Probably plant it like about right here, and we'll go ahead and use some bone meal so it plants. And then we'll set up beehive and an expansion box. Then we'll place our feeding slab, place a flower on it, fill this up with our bees, and then we'll go ahead and pipe this out to here. I don't know if we can connect item pipe to this. I think we're just gonna make a bunch of item pipe because we ran out of that universal pipe, and I'm not trying to craft a bunch more of that. Just need some droppers, and we can craft a bunch of this. So let's break that, and then we'll connect this up to the chest. And then if we just go ahead and configure this to pull from here, we can take our ultimate pipe upgrades, and those should be pulling into the chest as well. Then we can go ahead and speed this one. So now we can take our teak pollen. Let me actually just grab all of these. But let's grab our teak pollen, and we will right click it on our acacia leaves, and that's going to give us balsa. And then once we have the balsa, we'll go ahead and plant our tree here and bone meal it. Set up another beehive, put that there, and the expansion box on top, put the dirt below it and the feeding slab, break that, pipe it down to here, configure that to pull, throw a poppy in the middle, throw the upgrades in, throw the bees in, and throw our pipe upgrade in as well. I think we're missing a couple bees. We'll have to go get some of those, but we can, in the meantime, tick accelerate this so the bees grow up, and then we'll come back and tick accelerate it again. So we need 3. Oh, we're out of cages. Okay, so now we got 5. Cool. Oh, you know what? Those, we also gotta sleep because I believe the bees stop producing during the daytime or during the nighttime. And we'll go ahead and accelerate that again, and it looks like we got our balsa pollen as well. So now we're going to take the balsa pollen and we're going to put it with the dark oak. So we need to actually make sure we're doing this on the dark oak leaves. Break that. Now we got the cocobolo. We can put the cocobolo right here, grow that. Oh, that is a tall tree. And we'll go ahead and throw our expansion box and beehive, our dirt, our feeding slab, our poppy, throw our upgrades in, throw our bees in, tick accelerate this so the bees grow up, break this, place our item pipe, whoops, place our item pipe. We want that to pull, we want a pipe upgrade in there. It should be adults now, yep. And now we just wait for that to be done, and we just need to wait for the cocobolo to finish and until we get some pollen from it. So it looks like we're still waiting on that cocobolo pollen. Let's go ahead and tick accelerate this again. There's some pillages down here we can take out. Now we got some cocobolo pollen, 11,000 honeycomb blocks. So now we got to use this cocobolo pollen on the wenge leaves. Or no, we need it on the balsa leaves to make wenge. So let's pollinate that, break that. Now we got a wenge sapling. We'll place the wenge right over, like right there. Let it grow. Place our last hives. Place our upgrades. Place our bees. Tick accelerate that while we wait. Dirt, slab, pipe. We'll configure it to pull. Place an upgrade in. Place the feeding slab on. Get these bees moving. We already got some wenge pollen. So now we just need to take our wenge pollen and mix it with our cocobolo leaves, and when we do that, we should get our Socotra dragon sapling. And once we have that, we now just need the Ender Dragon data model and our Abyssal Sacrifice. I'm probably going to get this in between the next this episode and the next episode, and then we'll also get these the Cataclysm requirements as well. But if we go to our star, collect this stuff, and now, like, as you can see, hold on, let me get out of this rain. But now, as you can see, we are like super close to having all this stuff done. I think we're just missing like the Insanite blocks from Extreme Reactors, this Ender Dragon data model, either our large advanced motors or mechanical arms, and our Cataclysm stuff. And once we have all that, then we're pretty much going to be done. We just have to assemble the star. So yeah, getting super close. And I do want to check on how this is doing. Been going for 3 hours and it's at 95% done, but it's not quite done yet. Looks like we need to have some more Certus quartz seeds going to speed that up a little bit. We'll we can go ahead and place down some more. We have the room for it. Just need a place to slap these down. We'll just place them down for there right now. I forgot about our dragon we had up here. It's been so lonely. Where's our crusher dude? He should be up here somewhere too. Oh, he's hiding. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end off this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to drop a like and comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next one.